Hello. So you're gonna be a nurse. Great. Then you probably already know that you have a set of obligations that incline you to go to work and serve the sick when you get the call. Also great. But what if when you do get the call, you now have a set of obligations to go to work during a global pandemic and be exposed to the risk of you getting sick? Not so great. So the question is, what should a nurse do? Because on one hand, you do have a responsibility to go to work. On the other hand, as healthcare workers, you have your own interests, you don't want to get sick, which can incline you not to work. This is where ethical theories come in to help identify what is just the right and wrong thing to do in this situation. In Thomas Aquinas' natural law, humans have the inherent tendency to take actions that follow their nature and purpose as human beings to promote good and avoid evil. So as a nurse, it is in your nature promote good. To bring light and positivity in the midst of this pandemic, to show hope for faster recovery of diseases. So now you're all I'll go to work then. But no, you then see the news of a male nurse working frontline against COVID-19. That he was evicted from his boarding house, as the landlady told him.
Look for another boarding house. We don't want to be infected by COVID. We won't accept you here.
Dismayed, the nurse posted the discrimination he suffered from despite his sacrifices as a frontliner against the virus. So, hearing that news, you're now doubting your choice again, aren't you? But no worries. Here's another philosophy to help out your noggin. In Kant's deontology theory, the definition of the righteous or wrongness of an action is based in terms of a duty and obligation, not the consequences that may happen soon after. So as a nurse, it is your duty to go to work even in times of a pandemic. It is right to go to work because this tradition drives healthcare workers to do good and serve patients, strengthening the nurse-patient bond. Even if you're going to be exposed to a disease, what matters is your good intention under the nature of following moral virtues to serve and do your part as a member of the community. Now, in contrast to Kant's ideology, utilitarianism is another theory that focuses entirely on the consequences. Take the landlady in the previous news for example. She thought it was right to kick out the frontliner nurse out of their boarding house. The utilitarian approach could lead harm to individuals, while the net outcome is maximum benefit. So if you think about it, the outcome of you not going to work is basically for you to avoid the exposure of the disease. However, is it really worth it? To not follow your instinctive gut to go put on your uniform and do your duty? In an utilitarian defense, the obligation for healthcare workers to show up is not absolute. If hospitals don't have personal protective equipment, they are in no position to tell their staff to show up and work. If a hospital cannot provide even a basic level of safety for their employees to do their job, then they are turning their hospital into a pub to exacerbate the problem. So in brief, deontology is patient-centered, whereas utilitarianism is society-centered. Although these approaches contradict each other, each of them has their own substantiating advantages and disadvantages in medical practice. The bottom line is, there is an ethical consensus that healthcare workers have a duty to work because of everything that has been invested in them. Because of their unique position here. Not just anybody can replace them. Because society looks to them to serve this function, and because they went into this profession and are expected to go into work. With all that said, yes, a nurse should go to work. Just make sure that there is the proper and correct PPE provided. Also remember, it is still important that the rights of the patient and the duties of the professional are respected. The professionals must remain up to date on the ethical aspects that must guide their behavior, positioning themselves in a critical and reflexive manner when facing moral dilemmas that are present in the daily practice of the profession. This will be of great help especially for upcoming health workers such as you. Yes. As you further on experience working on the field, reflection about responsibility and competence is a guiding tool for decision-making based on legal and ethical principles. Thus, it is very crucial to consider ethics as part of a convention to make decisions for not only your actions in your daily everyday life, but all throughout your future career as well. So that is all. Thank you for listening.